Today, we're going to tear apart a story about fear, about superstition, and about a revenge that, believe it or not, comes from the earth itself. We're going to see how a village's desperation can take a healer and twist her into a witch until her curse becomes this terrifying, unforgettable legend. All right, let's just jump right in. This line right here, it's the key. This is what unlocks the entire tragedy of Ketpur Village. It's basically a promise, right? A promise that even when you burn the truth to the ground, something always remains in the ashes. So where does a story like this even begin? Well, it starts with drought and with doubt. We're in the village of Ketpur, and this place is just withering away. The drought hasn't just dried up the land, you see. It's dried up their faith. And something else, something much darker, is starting to grow in its place. Fear. I mean, just try to picture it. The sky is this sickly, dusty yellow, day in and day out, but not a single drop of rain falls. And at night, the wind carries these haunting sounds. Are they real? Who knows? But people start hearing whispers. They start hearing cries. This is a whole community living on a knife's edge, and they are desperate to find someone, or something, to blame. And right in the middle of all this rising panic is a woman named Savitri. She's the Vijamai, the village healer, and for years she's been their rock. I mean, her hands brought their children into the world. Her herbs cured their fevers. She's not just respected, she's trusted. Absolutely 100% trusted in every single home. Okay, so now things take a turn. A very dark turn. We're moving from healer to witch. And you're about to see just how fast, scarily fast, a lifetime of trust can evaporate into betrayal and how quickly a savior can be turned into a scapegoat. And boom, just like that. This timeline is wild because it shows you how fast a mob can flip. Savitri delivers a healthy baby boy, a success. But then, minutes later, the mother dies. And there's no pause, no moment of what happened. Grief just instantly sours into accusation. Savitri, the healer they've known their whole lives, is branded a witch. And her entire life's work, her home, her remedies, it all goes up in smoke. So check this out. What's so fascinating here is you're seeing two totally different realities collide. On one side, you've got the village headman, the Mukhya, just running on raw emotion and fear. Everything gets twisted. Prayers? No, those were evil spells. A complicated birth? No, that was murder. And on the other side, you have Savitri, pleading with them, using logic. My medicine has saved your other children. How can it be poison? But it doesn't matter. You can't reason with a mob that's drowning in fear. And this is where it gets really chilling. With their home burning behind her, Savitri doesn't beg, she doesn't cry. She just turns to them and drops this riddle, this prophecy that is absolutely going to come back to haunt every single one of them. And then she just melts away into the forest, the very place that used to be her source of healing. Which brings us to our next part, Revenge of the Clay. You see, in their terror of a monster they imagined, the villagers just created a real one. All that knowledge Savitri had about the earth, about healing, that's about to be turned into a weapon. Okay, look at the steps here. This isn't just a fit of rage. This is cold. It's calculated. It's a ritual. She goes to the abandoned temple and digs a pit in the earth, the same earth she used for her remedies. She molds a little figure out of clay, but then she adds hair from the Mukhya's wife and wraps it in her old scarf. It's so personal, you know? That's what makes it so terrifying. And then she writes this on its chest, "Your happiness is my thirst." Think about that. That is a vow of pure, unending torment. It's not about revenge, not a quick one anyway. It's about slowly draining all the joy from their lives, a long, agonizing decay of everything they love, just so she can quench her own suffering. And boy, does it work fast. It's like this invisible poison that starts to seep into every part of the Mukhya's life. First, it hits his stuff, a horrible smell in his house, his fields start to rot, his cattle get sick. But then it moves inward. It gets personal. It latches onto his wife, Lata, and she falls ill with this bizarre sickness that no one can explain. So, in total desperation, the Mukhya calls the village priest, the pundit. And the pundit confirms their absolute worst nightmare. This isn't just bad luck. This is Kaala Jaadu, black magic. He tells them a piece of Savitri's soul is literally buried in the earth, and it is sucking the life out of everything and everyone they love. All right, so this leads us into the final frantic act, the unfinished curse. They're in a race against time now, trying to destroy this thing they created. But, as they're about to find out, sometimes when you dig up a dark secret, you only give it more power. So, picture the scene. It's midnight. The Mukhya, the Pandit, and a couple of other guys are at the old abandoned temple. There are just a couple of torches flickering in the dark. They're not just digging for a clay doll. They're trying to dig a curse right out of the heart of the earth. And then they find it. A shovel hits something that isn't rock. And what they pull out of the ground is just this horrifying little thing. It's not just a doll. It's a combination of earth, personal items, and just pure, concentrated malice. And that one little red bead on the thread, that's the heart of it all, the focal point of the entire curse. The crazy thing is, the Pandit feels it before they even see it. He literally yells out, "It is buried here." He says the ground itself is radiating this dark energy like it's screaming. He knows they've found the epicenter of the curse. So the Mukhya is about to finally destroy it, set it on fire, but just as he moves to do it, everything goes silent. An absolutely unnatural, terrifying silence. The wind that was howling through the forest just stops, dead. It's like the entire world just held its breath.
And in that dead silence, the Pandit has this moment of pure horror. He realizes they have made a huge mistake. This magic is way, way bigger than them. By digging it up, they didn't trap it, they just woke it up. He just screams at them, "Run."
But the Mukhya's not listening. He's just lost in his own rage and guilt. He lunges at the effigy, tries to rip it apart. And in the struggle, the black thread around its neck snaps. That little red bead, the heart of the curse, flies off and gets lost somewhere in the darkness. The Pandit's warning is absolutely bone-chilling. You didn't destroy the curse. You just set it free. And now it's in your blood. So, the next morning, Lasada is dead. But here's the twist. The curse isn't broken. Lying on the bed right next to her body is the clay doll. But now, its neck is just a burnt-out hole where the thread and the bead used to be. The curse is incomplete. It's still hungry. And the Mukhya? He's alive, sure. But he is a completely broken man.
So here's the thing. The real takeaway. The story doesn't actually end. It just changes. It becomes a ghost story. The village thought they were banishing a witch, but what they really did was create a ghost, a permanent haunting for their forest, an unfinished revenge that just hangs in the air forever.
And that brings us full circle, right back to that question Savitri asked them. Who is truly alive and who is dead? I mean, think about it. Lot is dead. Savitri is gone, now a ghost. But what about the Mukhya? He's breathing, yeah, but he's living in this self-made prison of fear and guilt. The curse is alive and well, living inside him. And that's maybe the most haunting part of this whole thing, right? Sometimes the worst curse isn't dying, it's having to live with the ashes of a truth that you yourself set on fire.